Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. As always, I have Adil with me. Adil, how's your weekend?
Yep, really busy weekend. Good games. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, really good games. Feisty, fires everywhere. Looks like the heat's got to the managers as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, why is a heavyweight fight coming up? Innit?
I don't think that's heavyweight.
I'm talking just Usyk. I think
Oh,
they'll
yeah. I'm talking about the fight at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, that's these are the prelims, isn't it? The prelims have started.
Oh man. But yeah, again, another brilliant weekend of football, and we just finished watching another awesome game at Anfield, really. And let's start there, really. 1-1. Nunes getting sent off, seeing red mist. What did you make of the whole game? And I mean, some great finishing. Oof.
Yeah, both goals were excellent finishes. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a strange game because obviously Liverpool dominated, played well, looked sharp. But you could just see in it that the physicality of Spurs, the fact they're dropping deep, defending quite well, was frustrating Liverpool, and for their goal is a sucker punch, really. Loads of mistakes. You can see the lack of intensity. It's uncharacteristic error from Fabinho, the way he's just dived in, nowhere near the ball, half-hearted. It's not what you normally expect from Fabinho, but that's what happens when you're kind of dominating a game and it's so comfortable, and the other team really ain't showing any ambition. Because the thing with playing Zaha up top is you're not going to get really build up, but you're literally just waiting for that one opportunity where he can run in.
That's what it literally feels like, is that they were just waiting for that moment, that one chance they're gonna get. And I mean,
like I said, uncharacteristic mistake for Fabinho. Don't know what Nat Phillips is doing. I mean, when you're defending against one striker, I don't understand why. I don't understand why he's letting him run off like that. When especially when Eze's broken through has the midfield lines. I mean, you can't gamble on the offside when when there's nothing in front of the midfield. I mean, he could easily do. There's so much at play still. There's such a big gap. So for you to, you're literally guessing, and it's a complete gamble. So it's inexperienced defending. Probably you could question the selection, because when Gomez came on, he did a lot better with dealing with Zaha.
Then that was the question, why not play Gomez from the beginning, isn't it? Yeah, well, he might not be full fit, but I mean, he's a much better upgrade to what Nat Phillips.
But I think obviously if they started with Mateta, then everyone say, oh, it makes sense why Phillips played, because Mateta is really good at in the air and holding up the ball. And so maybe the whole Zaha start, play more up front was kind of a surprise selection, and they weren't really expecting that.
Definitely, but I mean, do you think Van Dijk also plays a part, because he seems like he slowed down slightly? Was he too worried about Zaha chopping inside?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing you could think of. But like I said, we've been saying for a number of weeks he hasn't been defending very well. He still looks a yard off the pace, so he's not sharp. But that's what Zaha's reputation does, but buys him a bit more time, because he has got that trickery in him, and that. But you would still rather him chop in, and the first 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 rule of defending is delay.
Yeah.
So by delaying Zaha, making him chop in, it just gives everyone else more of an opportunity. So yeah, he would have been better off going charging Zaha down and actually allowing Zaha to chop in because
Yeah.
as
Because
we saw,
you don't know. You could have got a leg to it somehow. I mean, you could have made a difference, but yeah. But I mean, what character shown by Liverpool? I mean, definite red card, right? You agree with me? In terms of Nunes,
yeah, I mean
what
that's
character to come back?
yes, and the stadium needed that because that was probably they were a bit flat, and then straight away Luis Diaz just creates a moment of magic.
What a strike! What a strike!
Yeah, great strike. I mean, obviously he's slightly dribbling away from the goal and to wrap his hip and legs around that and generate the power. It just shows the quality he has. But I do think Diaz needs to become a bit more mature. He dies out every game by the 80th minute because he's put so much in. But that's when the opposition are most tired. So a lot of the smart best players, what they do is they they pace themselves to a point where they can really go for it at the moment when defenders are tired and more likely to have lapses in concentration, and you can profit from it. So I just feel like Diaz, as soon as it hits the 75-minute mark, 8-minute mark, you're better off taking him off, even if he's had a blinder, because yeah, he'll give you heart still, but he doesn't have enough in the tank to effectively offer anything up front.
It seems that the game management is a problem for him. But I mean, Liverpool have that option to like switch around, so I'm not sure what
option. I mean, they're not really going to bring Firmino on when you need to score a winner.
True.
Especially against a team that's just sitting back and letting you have the ball and pick. Like he could drop off the defenders. Defenders aren't following him. I just think that's 2 weeks in a row where Leon Anderson has looked the part as a centre back. He's definitely
Joaquin Anderson. Okay, it's Leon Anderson. You had me confused, man.
Oh, sorry. Is it Joachim? Sorry,
Joaquin.
Yeah, I say. So he's proven it 2 weeks in a row. I mean, I thought he was really good against Arsenal as well. So
well, he got to Nunes' head as well, isn't it? So and got him.
Yeah, I think part of the reason is because Nunes was struggling to cope with him really as well. So sometimes defenders can get the better of the strikers. So
it's a learning point. I mean, obviously a massive move for him. It's a learning point from him. Sometimes it happens, but if it continues to happen, that's a different case. But I mean, it's one off. You can,
yeah. I think he's the type. You don't think he's not that type of guy who's gonna continue to go in a certain way. You can tell he's a humble kid.
Let's hope he doesn't do Suarez stuff.
He is from Uruguay, so
that's why.
There's something about Uruguay players and that and the cup and that's something to them.
But I mean, in terms of Liverpool, 2 games, 2 draws. I mean, what do you make of it after the Community Shield? Everyone thought they're going to be flying, but is it cause for or is it too early to say?
I think I don't know. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, today they played really well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna keep repeating it because no one else says it. They are really struggling with the loss of Jota more than anything. I think Jota really did give them a different dimension at the start of the season last year. And he got a lot of key goals, critical goals right at the beginning. So I think they're missing that that striker who's a bit of a fox in the box, a bit of a poacher. But he the way he used to press, and the way he used to have the individual skill.
He used to just have that nas for that gap somewhere in between, isn't it? He used to always find it. So
Yeah, and the thing was, he was very good at creating the overloads because he'll beat the first man, and then he's not the type to hug it, so he'll play it off to Mane and Salah, and the quick combination play that he'd create. I think they are lacking that sharpness up front, and obviously with Nunes, it's slightly a different style because he's not creating the space for Salah to run into. So it's a work in progress, the attack, but they did play well.
It's something to look into, isn't it, going forward, of how Salah and Nunes kind of adapt to each other's really, and how much it affects Salah in terms of how Nunes plays and his goal.
Definitely something. But again, they're going to improve. They're going to figure it out.
Of course.
Liverpool's one of those teams. They always seem to find answers, and that's the mark of a good manager. They do the work in the training ground. They'll find solutions. They'll find ways to open up teams and keep Salah and Nunes both involved and getting on the end of chances.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's move on to your favorite topic of the day. I know you've been dying to talk about this for the whole week.
Well, let me guess.
Non-stop messaging me, when can we do the podcast?
Oh, please, your grin says it all.
If our viewers haven't guessed it, is Manchester United versus Brentford versus Man United. What did you make of it, Adil?
Yeah.
Is it what we predicted? Because we pretty much thought Tony and
Well, no one predicted that. I don't think
not the 4-0, but as in the aerial dominance and that.
I mean, they got completely destroyed. Thing is that the whole argument about the aerial dominance isn't actually true. If you watch the game, none of the goals really happened through aerial dominance. And even when they were pumping the ball out, United were winning it back every single time. It wasn't. They didn't lose the game because aerial dominance. Yeah, they conceded one goal from the corner through aerial dominance. Yeah. But in actual open play, every time they played that. And the thing was, Brentford weren't really playing direct to set up the goal. They were actually just playing direct to set up the counter pressing. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time they were hitting it way over Tony's head, and it was going straight to Lisandro Martinez, and it was more about pressuring once the ball United bring the ball down. So yeah, I don't think yeah, there was a physical difference, there's a pressing difference, there's running difference, there's a height in the box difference when it comes to set pieces. Fine. But actually, aerial dominance in open play, it didn't actually happen. No. Yeah, but Brighton did play direct, but it wasn't to build up the play. It was just to set up the pressing game.
But even in terms of the traps they set after that, Adu, it's just every single time it worked like a joy for them, isn't it? Whether it was.
But the thing is, I don't understand. Like, it's not really setting up any trap. They just went man for man.
Yeah.
That's all they did. They went man for man, and they're trying to force Man United to play it long. So it wasn't like anything special. It's just you don't need to do too much. You just need to have that hunger, and put a tackle in, and you'll soon see this Man United team fall over, and they'll just. How many flaky? But then we've been saying it for the past 2 years. Even when they got second, we were complaining about the character of the players, how many flaky players they have. But now, that's when they had confidence. We're saying that, and now they've lost confidence.
Yeah,
and everyone has. It's not just that the players have lost confidence. Everyone else has gained so much confidence against United that fear factor, the respect.
It's gone, isn't it? It's gone. It's gone.
No one fears them. No one, even Ericsson, who was, lighting up the stadium last year for Brentford, and they all know what a good quality player is. They didn't give him any respect.
No.
They identified him. They targeted him. So, yeah, I mean, what else can I say? But yeah, I don't agree with the idea that it was an aerial bombardment that made them lose. They lost the game, and again, it's down to organization. They lost the game on three things: goal kicks, defending set plays, and then offensive set plays. The shape of the team in offensive set plays. That's it. So it's a lot of the goals are all organization goals. So
then that comes down to the manager. Then yeah, but some things at that level you don't have to coach. For example, you don't need to coach, and I don't think the manager is saying to Dallo, torpedo the ball into the center circle on a throw-in in your own half when you're right in the corner, defending your own box. That's just minus. It's grassroots football. Everyone knows. Play it down the line. Down the line, yeah.
Hope to get another throw and push up the pitch. Don't throw it in the center. He throws it in the area with the 3-4 Brentford players already there.
Ready to just.
And then he doesn't. It's not just. He throws it at such a height that it's impossible to bring it down. Then Ronaldo somehow chests it, tries to get it down. There's got 3-4 guys around him already under pressure in the center of the pitch.
Yeah.
So that's just mindless football. Like, I don't understand what Dallo is doing. You don't expect when you're playing short. I mean, I've never seen any team that plays out from the back, from the goalkeeper, have both their centre backs on the edge of the 6-yard box. They are actually on the edge of the box. What value is there Martinez passing the ball 1 yard to De Gea? I've never seen this new tactic that they're doing. I was like, wow, what skill, what innovation is
innovation,
this?
Guess
what? No, the player that was picking up Martinez hasn't moved an inch and he's still picking up De Gea because the place is standing next to each other. So what is this tactical innovation? And then you got Maguire another 5 yards away. Like, I've never seen a team that plays short have both players inside, both defending inside the box. Plus the keeper practically holding each other's hands.
I've seen it. Even when it happens, it's when they're trying to do it a bit quick, like the left centre back plays it to the keeper, but like the right centre back, he pushes out wide straight away. As soon as that's
out the box, he's on the edge of the box. He's not edge of the 6-yard box.
There's no movement. It's like, they're both static. I'm just gonna stand it. That's
another thing. And this is the exact same thing happened against Brighton with Fred. When the two centre-backs get picked up and the centre mid comes in to pick it up or to offer that pass and a midfielder tracks him.
Yeah.
Now, exact same errors and problem from the thing. Now, you have both fullbacks, especially Dallo. He's marking the opposition wing back. Both teams played the same wing back systems, Brighton and normally you want to encourage that wing back to commit and press you in your own half. Now you're creating space. Now you're creating space to spin the ball in behind.
If you're slightly deeper, If you're slightly deeper.
But what Dallo is doing is he's going beyond the half line and he's marking the wing back in his own half. So then what happens is De Gea's got no pass to bypass. He's got no pass.
Yeah.
Dallo is picking up he's marking the opposition. He's not trying to be in space. And then you got the second midfielder. Last week it was McTominay. This week is Fred. They're stretching, pushing up the pitch again, marking the defensive midfielder. The whole point is to be in space and to create space. Now, if you're pushing up and marking the opposition players in their own half, well, you're not in space because you're marking them. And number two, you're not creating space because they're in their own half. You're not even drawing them away. So I don't understand what innovation of attacking football that is. It makes no sense. And then you have 3 players marked and no options to keep the ball. Now, if your idea of football is to keep the ball, keep possession, then have your fullbacks in a position where when the defenders get picked up, you can chip it over the press into the fullback, force the opposition fullback or winger to come out and press, and then suddenly you can play quick touch football and play your way out. But they literally got this idea of only playing out with 4 players, including the keeper, of which they're all literally holding each other's hands.
No, I think, do you think it's partly to do also with the players not probably following the instruction fully?
I think it's the players, because you can tell Dalot is hiding. You can tell Fred is hiding. McTominay was hiding last week. They're not offering, because it's common sense. If everyone is being, it's common sense to get into a position where the goalkeeper can chip it to you.
Yeah.
Or something. If you look at the free kick where Harry Maguire gets the warning before the second goal, where Eriksen got pickpocketed the first time. Dalot literally, so the ball goes to Maguire. Dalot literally goes and hides behind Tony. So there's no pass, and then suddenly the only option is to go into Eriksen, and Eriksen, the only option he thinks he has is Dalot there, who is literally standing right behind. So there's zero, unless Tony becomes invisible, there's zero chance of passing to him.
That pass becomes really hard, isn't it? Because it's directly in between Tony and Maguire. The positioning is, it's crazy.
So it's organization, the problems that United have,
and that's to correct. Obviously, it's not down to the manager. It's the players.
Well, I do think it's down to the manager in the sense that it's happened in 2 games now, so he's not making himself clear enough. He's not identifying the problems clear enough. There is no team that plays out from the back where the centre back is playing it 1 yard to the keeper. I don't see the value in that one bit. Who are you committing? Who are you changing? I could understand if he does it and then the centre back spins outside the box and then suddenly the striker has to think, who am I going? But they both stood standing next to each other, holding each other's hand. So what the heck is Martinez doing there? Pass the ball to keeper 1 yard away and then bloody hug him. It don't make sense. Spin off.
Listen, he was feeling sorry for De Gea after his mistake he made. He wanted to give him a hug, but obviously there was an opportunity to do that. So
yeah, well, he could hug him, hug the bench in it at half time. That's what happened. He got his hug in it.
But I mean, would you say much change in the second half with Varane and the 3 substitutions they made, or was it just Brentford just done a professional job of just the game off?
Game was gone. And that's how much lack of belief there is, that even when the game is gone and opportunities presented itself, United didn't have the belief to put anything away and to show some fight back or pride. And that just shows the desperation of confidence, lack of belief. A lot of players feeling sorry for themselves. And that's it. I mean, you're seeing the character of the players. And the saddest thing is United's recruitment policy does not factor in any of the problems that United actually have. They have a lack of athleticism and legs in the whole squad. You got a lot of players who can't put shifting. For years, everyone goes on about the running stats. They don't get players who have energy, legs, athleticism. They keep going. Look, Rabiot, another slow player, another player who lumbers around. Every player they're
He
going for
hasn't
is
got
either
great work ethic
technical,
either, isn't he?
not physical, don't run much, no, not high intensity explosive. It's like they're not watching what modern football is about anymore, and they're not looking at any character. They're buying all these flaky characters who, yeah, when you're on the ball, when you're dominating a team, they might be really good technically, but this is the Premier League. Every team has a go at you pretty much,
Yeah.
unless you're Bournemouth. Do you get it? Or Crystal Palace. Every team pretty much
Hey, you can't say that. They challenged Liverpool.
one attack, one goal. Yeah,
Doesn't matter. They
but,
done it,
but
innit?
most teams, yeah, but you understand what I'm saying. Most teams will have a bit more of a go. Do you get it? They'll have a bit more of a. So it's never like that in other leagues. The dominant teams just give up. They never really have to win. But in England, the crowd pressures every
Massive.
team to have a go. You have to have a go. It's gonna be physical. So no matter what, you have to have players with character. You gotta have players who want to get stuck in.
You know,
Win the
like
ball back, get physical.
one moment, just
I won't say the term it's a man's game, but it's a physical game.
but man versus boys. You can put it in that context. But you know, like one moment, like clearly showed it really. Like this Jadon Sancho moment. I don't know if you saw when who was it? The throw-in, yeah, and it just like what's his name? He's gone out. Pinnock just went all the way past him.
Henry did, yeah.
Yeah, Henry. So Rico Henry, yeah. It just showed, and that just to me just showed like this. They've given up.
The thing is, he to be fair to Sancho, he was tracking back in the first half. If you see, quite a lot of the times he was, as deep as Henry. And I think what's clear and what is very obvious is Ten Hag is just solely focusing on what United are doing on the ball, and there is definitely a lack of instruction and preparation and directions on what to do off the ball, other than just pressing high when they can. Again, it doesn't work when you have Ronaldo on the pitch and Rashford sulking. It just doesn't work.
Well, I mean, do you know, like PSG was interested in Rashford? Then just move him on. If he doesn't even want to.
This is the thing with United is it's just like the whole Lingard situation is anyone who's got social media presence, they don't want to get rid of him, even if the player is no longer happy or not performing. And the thing is, you look at every team that's done a rebuild, even a team that was successful when Pep Guardiola took over Man City. What did he do? He got rid of the big guns.
Big guns, yeah.
He got rid of many of the big guns and brought in fresh young talent. The few big guns that stayed, they were dropped. Aguero wasn't favoured straight away. Yaya Toure was dropped. What did he do? He straight away showed he's going with young players, fresh players.
If you want to play for me, you got to get to that standard and that level.
Exactly. You look at Klopp. What did he? He had full turnover of the squad.
Yeah.
Got rid of so many players.
But he's going to need that time. But he needs. Like this question I want to ask, because everyone's saying like Glazer out, and like even Gary Neville, I don't know, he's been pumping.
Yeah, but he's campaigning, isn't it?
I don't know if he wants to become the new owner of Manchester United, but
he can't even make a success out of Salford, and he's talking about, he's the Glazers of League Two. He's the Glazer of League Two.
But like, so what's the problem?
Sacks him after every year.
Ade, what's the problem? Is Glazer the problem? What is the real issue, and what needs to be done to get Man United, one of the biggest teams in the UK in the world, back to where they belong?
Problems lie bigger now than just pointing at Glazer. The biggest problem was actually Ed Woodward, and now the problem is he's left a structure and an identity where so many things are broken and wrong that even though I do believe Russell Ireland is trying to do things in a better way, the problems are plain to see. It's already there. Everything's already disintegrated. The whole, Ragnick thing has killed the identity of the club. You had Solskjaer, Carrick, McKenna all building an identity. All right, not much of a footballing philosophy, but there was a mentality identity of thinking and acting and handling the pressure of playing for Man United. Fine. When it comes to the finer details, philosophy, it wasn't there. There wasn't much of a game plan, but he definitely had them pressing. He definitely had the focus on off the ball work, running stats. There was an idea of hard work there. So you've completely got someone else who decide to become a scientist. Do you get it? Experimenting with this formation, it didn't work. It's killed everyone's confidence. On top of the fact that there's a culture where you're picking players that are bigger than the club, and you're rewarding them. You keep giving them more money, extending their contracts. Fernandes getting more. Why? Because you're valuing them for their social media and their profile rather than performances. So yeah, everything's back to front, and unfortunately it's going to take a long time to clear the culture, to clear, and I do think they want to do it and they're trying to tackle it, but they're not ready to take the hit. They're not ready to humble themselves and just say to Cristiano Ronaldo, you know what, you beat us, you win, take your, because the problem they have with Cristiano Ronaldo is he went on like he was happy to stay, so he gets his bonus. So a lot of these big players do this thing of when he goes into the next year, they get a loyalty bonus. He took his 2 million odd loyalty bonus, and then the next week he said he wanted to leave. So basically, he pretended he was happy to stay and he's happy with Ten Hag and everything, just so the date of that loyalty payment gets kicked in. So now they're stung by that. They don't want to give him a free transfer, but sometimes you just gotta eat humble pie, cut your losses, move on, put the club first.
Yeah,
but you've shown in so many other ways you're willing to waste money.
But this is the thing. This is why I was so surprised. Like Rashford doesn't feel like he's, bro, just moving along, bro. There's so many players out there who die to play for United. Come on, man.
I'm not sure.
No,
even if they are, the club's selling him they're gonna offer 50. They're gonna quote 50 million for any player.
But at the you know what I mean? As in, there is still, it's still United, right? And that's what I don't get. There will be players who are hungry to come.
It's not United until they stop chumming up to agents and relying on agents to do their scouting and their recruitment. At the end of the day, they're too busy being, ripped off by agents and chumming up to agents. If the policy worked, then you'd get some good deals. I can't remember any signing they've done where I thought they got it for a good price. Every single sign, even Fernandes, even Sancho, everybody's a rip-off price. So what is this idea about having accountants and lawyers as running your football operation and being chummy with agents? And instead of having a recruitment policy, a plan in what you want, and back, if this is the other thing, the whole reason I was happy with the Ten Hag appointment was because he's a coach. So I thought, you know what, they won't be afraid to buy players and sign them, and he can coach them and improve them. Guess what? He's afraid to go to any player he's never worked with before. So what's the point of having a guy who's excellent on the training ground if he doesn't even back his coaching skills?
But there's other reports. Apparently, some of the senior players are not happy with Ten Hag or something again. So it's like,
but they're not gonna like a disciplinarian. At the end of the day, they're bigger than the club. They're bloody porn stars the way they act. Look at them. They put no effort in, and then they come off, shaking their head, looking at everyone else.
Well, Ronaldo just walked off
Okay.
without clapping the fans and stuff. Like they were trying to get him to do it, and he just like walked off like it's some I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously he doesn't want to be there, innit? So then that's the thing. At the end of the day, they're not bothered, and yeah, it's a boring story because the funny thing is everyone's been speaking about it, everyone's highlighting it, and it's still the United hierarchy are the only people who still don't see it. Even now, why are you backing your manager and hiring technical players? Again, no legs, no character, no leadership. You know, what is Eriksen going to do in defensive mid away at Brentford when they're all over you? He's going to crumble because he's not a player of character. Yeah, he's a communicator, he's an excellent player. But when the going gets tough, he's not the guy you're going to turn to. And they're just signing all these type of players. So they're still not learning.
Glazers out?
Who?
Glazers out. Glazers.
But no one wanted the Glazers ever, do you get it? The only Man United fan that was ever happy because, that's the only good thing Neville is doing is highlighting the fact that they've never put in any money and taken so much money out. You know, they've taken 1.5 billion out. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's it. Neville for president.
That's not including the billion they've wasted on crap players and wages.
They did give you guys money. I mean, you guys are the highest spending team, so
no, but that's because they're not giving money for the sporting project. They're giving money because that's the marketing project, the business project. They're giving money to buy players so they can still act and show like they're a big club. No, because they want to be a big club. If you want to be a big club, you know, invest in facilities.
Well, I mean, how do United move on? Because obviously Liverpool.
Yeah, they need to stop being afraid to press the reset button. They need to stop trying to do it in a half-hearted way. Like you said, don't be afraid to get rid of these big guns.
Yeah, that's what I feel, man.
Back your coaching, back your bright young talent. Everyone who's done a rebuild. You look at Liverpool. You look at City. They've all done it. You look at even go abroad. You look at AC Milan. They've all done it through bringing young, fresh talent, coaching them, building the culture up again, building the winning mentality, then getting the experience of Zlatan and the winners and Giroud and guys to help them along. There's a smart planning to it. United need to stop being afraid to do it. Just press the reset button and go for it. Back your coach, back your ability and your stature, and do it. Stop trying to do a shortcut. Best example is Arsenal and Arteta. They did the unthinkable in getting rid of so many bad apples.
If you look at how many players they got rid of the wage bill.
Yeah, but look at the extreme way they did. They had a lot of bad apples. Their situation, I would say, was worse than United's. They had Ozil, Mustafi, they had a whole German, stroke, Turkish, crew there running the show. Mustafi.
Don't mess with Kolasinac, though. Kolasinac,
but either way, they've done the hard work. Yeah. It's paying off now, and they're able to
slowly all looks better, doesn't it? Since we let's move on from that. I mean, to the big fight in the London Stadium, not Stamford Bridge Stadium. Tuchel versus Conte. What did you make of that fiery game?
It was an excellent game. Really box office, blockbuster, everything. It's the type of game that happens in May or April. When there's a title running, and it's like edge of the sea. Really means so much. It had that feel, and it's the second game of the season. So it just shows how much these two teams really want to stamp their authority as the team, the the challenges to the duopoly of Liverpool and City. You can tell both of them really want that to be the team that's closing in the most. And
was there a fair result at the end then, would you say?
No, because really Chelsea should have been out of sight. They played so good, but again, they creating clear cut chances. They end up taking a lot of shots from outside the box. They don't play the extra pass, they don't have the extra runner. Sterling has improved them and has brought something to their game, but I still feel like they have too many players who want to do things outside the box and not enough inside the box. But they played really well. They dominated the game, especially the first half. I was impressed with Tottenham mentality, though. They kept gambling. They kept making attacking substitutions, and that just shows mentality, in it. It's a bit like one of the biggest takeaways I took from the Women's European Championship that England won was the mentality that they got outplayed against by Spain. They got outplayed by even Germany in the final. But they still kept their mentality and their belief that they're going to attack and they're going to score and they're going to still play to win, even if they get dominated. They didn't really react and change their system and worry about the fact that they're getting dominated. They just carried on with their plan A, believing in it. And I just felt like Tottenham had that similar type of mentality where they just kept bringing players on, putting their strikers and attacking midfielders on as wing backs, and there
was some great tactical parts,
it.
isn't it? We clocked, especially when the substitution and the change of formations were happening and how it impacted the match. If you
obviously, soon as Spurs got the equalizer by taking off Sessegnon and moving Song as the wing back. Tuchel reacts by countering it by switching James as veteran and putting James on, and then suddenly that gives them the lead because Song is playing too narrow, like the midfielder that he is, and not a wing back, and he's not really picking up James. And before that, James done an excellent cross, which really Havertz should have put away. And that's the thing. But that's the difference between the teams. There's pretenders and then there's real big game players. And Havertz, after making a meal out of a non-foul, where if anything, he made contact with Betancourt more than Betancourt made with him. He's leaning so much into the guy, he's left the ball behind. Do you get it? He's looking for the foul.
Slide tackle, I do.
Yeah, but the way he's leaning into, Betancourt, he's looking for it. He's no longer even keeping an eye on the ball.
That's. I mean, you would say that's a smart play, right? You're looking for it because you're just trying to buy a foul.
Yeah, but if you don't do it well, it's easier to run back and admit that you didn't do it smart enough. And he really didn't do it that well because Betancourt got the ball first, clean. What's the point of falling over after the tackle over the man's leg? You're moving so much into him. And then screaming at the lino and sulking, and that's the difference, isn't it? That's the difference. You got Harry Kane, he misses a sitter. The next chance he gets, he's putting it away. And you got Havertz giving it the large, screaming at the lino, fourth official. And when he's getting into tussles with Romero. Well, Romero's getting into tussles with everyone.
We'll discuss that. I'll bring that up.
And then when the chance comes to him, he messes it up.
Yeah, but even in the first goal, what was Jorginho trying to do? Dilly-dallying in that box?
Yeah, that's why Tuchel really made an example and took him off straight away. took him off
I,
straight
I,
away.
I just found that just silly. Him trying to lift that ball over the player.
It was comical because at the end of the day, he literally kicked it into the midriff of Son.
Yeah.
Literally lifted it into Son. He didn't even do anything to sell it. He didn't do anything to move it away from the body. I mean, someone's torso, it can't disappear, can it? I could understand trying to put it through the legs or an area where there's gaps, but the stomach is pretty solid. It's like
he saw a gap, I think he saw a gap. Trust me.
There was never a gap. He didn't even attempt it. I don't know what he's doing. I think he just had a brain freeze moment. You could tell when he sat down on the bench, he was thinking, "What the heck?"
Before the second goal, should they even had that corner? Should have been a free kick against them because the referee was clearly looking at what Romero did, and should that have been a red card because he clearly pulls Gurla's head down?
Well, as soon as VAR looks at it, it has to be a red card. It has to be a free kick the other way. I mean, I can't understand what is VAR checking for then.
What's the point of checking then?
And what didn't VAR see? And again, we highlighted it last year, where Spurs are definitely the team that gets the most favorable decisions in VAR. We're joking and saying it all of last season how they definitely.
It's evident. It's evident. I do.
Every time I watch a game, the most strangest VAR decisions always happen in favor of Spurs. That one is another very strange one. If the fact is they looked at it, if they missed the whole thing, if they didn't look at it, then I could understand it. But when you look at it, how can you not see? You definitely saw it because we saw it from the replays. We never saw it. No one picked it up live.
Yeah, everyone saw it from the VAR.
And they have better angles and more time and more replays and slow-mo and everything to see it. So
I think if we switch this and it was a, say for instance, Chelsea player doing it, or even if he's in the other box, it's a penalty. Straight. Yeah. So yeah, it's bizarre how.
Put it this way: if it's Harry Kane falling over with minimal contact, it's a penalty. So
this is without the Arsenal badge and the hate.
Yeah. I think you made the wrong club to say that, but 100% think that's a strange decision. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that Spurs showed mentality at the end of the day.
I'm not discounting.
Even for the first goal, they got the third centre back playing in central mid, laying the ball off for Højbjerg, which was another great finish. But even we're saying those things, we've forgotten about Koulibaly's amazing finish. Centre backs doing a finish like that.
Wow.
Outside of the four.
He showed Havertz how it's done, innit? He showed Havertz how it's done.
He's showing everyone how it's done, isn't it? No one's getting the volleys as clean as that.
What a finish. Outside as well, to spin it away. Oof. And to control it, especially from Well,
he saw it early. He adjusted his footwork early. That was the impressive thing for me, is how early he saw it and adjusted for it. It's just, a striker. Even a striker would be impressed with that.
Even his defending stuff, he was everywhere. He was making great tackles.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. Even for the second goal, he was the key difference. He's the one who goes inside of Kulusevski. Because again, we always say, the reason why they play inverted wingers on the opposite ends is because when they play back towards goal, it's almost impossible to win the ball. So it's easier to keep possession. And obviously, Koulibaly recognized that, gambled going inside, pickpocketed him, and then he's the reason why Spurs were caught out of possession and out positionally in the wrong place. So again, just like last week for the penalty, Koulibaly is making the difference in many ways. Very impressive. And to say the truth, he's standing out more than Rudiger did.
Yeah. He's made a real difference in the team. And I mean, obviously, we all know the transfer news about Chelsea going for everybody. Even now, Anthony Gordon, 40 million bid apparently rejected. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the strange one for me. I don't see where, he's not better than Pulisic, you know,
And he's
or
not.
Ziyech. So
Yeah.
where is he gonna play? You're not gonna drop Sterling. You're not
They're
gonna
still
drop
trying to get rid of one of them.
unless they've been so impressed with him as the striker for Everton that they want him as a striker for Chelsea. I don't know. Where does he actually play? Unless I don't know, maybe the wing back position. I don't know.
Frank Lampard made a call to the boss.
Yeah,
Take
well,
Gordon.
like I said,
Take Gordon. Give me 40 million. We need some money so we can buy more players.
yeah, I definitely think 40 mil for Gordon is good money.
Yeah. Well, they've rejected it. So if Chelsea come back in, they're going to pay more.
Yeah.
Crazy. But in terms of them two, I mean, what do you think of them for the season? I mean, that was a great showing, and surely one was an upwards for them in terms of like battling for that second, third place.
Well, but are you talking about Chelsea Spurs?
Yeah, Chelsea and Tottenham, yeah, both.
Yeah, I mean, you can see in it even from the feistiness of the game, the two managers, they really playing with edge in it. Both teams are playing with edge, both managers playing with the edge. And like I said, that game had the feel of a title running match. You know, it felt like such a big game. The way both, and that was because of the way the intensity and the way the players were pumped up. You know, from the first minute, there was pushing, shoving, getting into people's head, winding each other up, not taking a backward step. And that's why, again, you have to rate Spurs because they showed mentality.
Yeah.
You know, against a Chelsea team and a Chelsea crowd that was really pumped up.
Yeah.
They still found answers.
It's a Conte mentality comeback. Definitely represents him.
Definitely no handshakes.
Yeah, I don't look into my eyes when you do it, though, innit? But
then I'm talking to you.
let's move across the river to the other London club. What did you make of Arsenal 4-2?
Yeah, scintillating football again. They're really going for it. They're playing, they're playing that, swashbuckling, attacking style, really going for it. And yeah, probably getting a bit carried away with themselves alongside it. So yeah, entertainment. They're definitely the entertainers at the moment. And again, Gabriel Jesus just looks an absolute superstar.
But again, like the game should have been out of sight. I mean, they
kind of overplay it. They're getting a bit carried with the 1-2 touch stuff. Yeah. And they end up complicating it a bit too much. And the only time it seems like a bit of clarity is when Gabriel Jesus is on the ball.
Yeah.
But they're getting a bit carried away. Why not?
Yeah, but why not, innit? Why not? I mean, the things he was doing and the first finish, I mean.
Oof. Yeah, when you're dominating like that, why not?
Do you know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of the Alexis Sanchez finish. That's what he reminded me of.
Oh, that first goal, what a finish. That's just absolute quality.
That's
absolute quality. And what that shows is not only is he fit, is he technically great, it also shows how sharp his mind is, that he's spotting those opportunities and then being able to execute it. Do
you know what the worst, the other thing is? It's like, again, he started the move off on the left-hand side. And he actually played it in and then came into that position. So
yeah, that's the bit where that's what's impressing me the most is most of the chances that he's doing is actually he's the one creating it for himself, in the sense that he's playing so free. He's playing the false nine role, and then he's also playing the winger who's running in behind because he's dribbling it himself and creating the opportunities. So the movement in and around him, when he gets on the ball isn't actually that great. It's actually nice before it comes to him, the one-touch football, but the players haven't still adjusted to Gabriel Jesus.
I think Martinelli has, because they still do that great swap where if Jesus goes in, then Martinelli goes into the center spot.
Yeah, I just think they're set moves. They're just set moves, set patterns that Martinelli always does, and that's the whole point of Gabriel Jesus playing that false nine role. The difference is he's got the speed and the skill and the dribbling and the technical ability to not just build up, but actually go on and create for himself. And that's actually the bit that I'm impressed with more, is how much he's creating for himself in playing such a free role. And
he wants the Brazil number 9 shirt. I do. He wants the Brazil number 9 shirt.
He's already got it in it, because he's already been playing that. I mean, Carlson definitely ain't gonna take it off him. He's on the bench for Spurs, so
yeah. Firmino?
No.
But is there anything to cause for concern for Arsenal? Because I don't know. For me, it just seems like they give hope to opposition too much.
It's not necessarily cause for concern. I mean, everyone's going to highlight the fact that they look a bit leaky. Another game where Ramsdale was a bit erratic suddenly. They always got that worry. Is the cause for concern is they get carried away. And they had that issue last year where there were certain games where they blew teams away, and then they tried doing it in every game, and then they lose a game because they're trying to play too much flashy football, and then Arteta rein them in and make them play, robotic, systematic, defensive football. So they obviously still got that, and that's what you would get from a young team, and so I do think they still lack a bit of leadership,
Agreed.
behind the attacking. Obviously, they got big game player up top, but they probably do need a bit of an organizer, a communicator, because you got Xhaka playing like an attacking midfield. So you can tell he's not really that focused on the defensive side.
He's playing as an 8. Box.
So he's playing a lot more freer too. So he's probably the only player that's recognized the opportunities that Gabriel Jesus is making. So he's pushing on a bit more, but I'm still not impressed with. I don't think Saka's really adjusted to Gabriel yet. I mean, they do the quick 1-2s on the edge of the box, but when Gabriel Jesus turns or faces the defender, that's where Saka needs to. He can get a lot of opportunities if he makes those runs. So again, the only worry for Arsenal is them getting over carried away and the fans getting carried away with this swashbuckling football. But saying that, I'm not, I don't think, they're the team, they've had 2 favorable fixtures.
I wouldn't classify Crystal Palace as a favorable fixture, but
that's a favorable fixture. Everyone knows the difficulties of their preseason. Everyone knows, Vieira actually, struggled with knees second. He's not a man that smashes it in after his first season. Wherever he's been, he's always struggled after his first season. So, I think it's the right time to place Crystal Palace. It's a harder game later on in the season.
Definitely.
Like I said, nothing to get carried away about. The only thing is just Gabriel Jesus. It's just,
lighting up.
MVP. MVP at the moment.
MVP, yeah. Let's move on. What did you make of Man City?
Standard victory. They played with a player less and still won. So
player less.
Yeah. Haaland done 2 passes the whole game, 8 touches.
Doesn't matter. He got the first goal assist. He done the.
No, but you see,
he broke
what people didn't report is he had 4 men on him literally the whole time he tried linking up the play. It's like the whole game plan was just to let Haaland get the ball.
Listen. If Foden stopped being a greedy, greedy player and just squared the ball, you know,
Mate,
it's happened.
There's a hint of fantasy football criticism coming here. If he had Foden, you'd have been happy he's taking the shot.
Even if he passes, getting an assist, what's the big deal? Yeah, he should have passed.
Big players shoot when they're in on goal.
He should have passed the ball, walk into the net.
Yeah,
but again, Bournemouth didn't show much, did they? They just kind of tried to like damage limitation. That's why.
And the thing is that tactic of leaving one up top and trying to spring dash, it can work when you have a Zaha up top. He can put it away. But it's not going to work when you have Kiefer Moore. I mean, tall, he ain't got the pace. Even if Diaz or Ake does what Van Dijk did and stop on the pitch, they still catch Kiefer Moore. So yeah.
But the other point, De Bruyne's goal. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as, it wasn't as exciting for me as maybe for everyone else. I didn't think the outside of the foot finish was unbelievable. It's a standard finish, it's a smart finish, a good finish, quality, but it's more the step and how easily that step just kind of just fooled the 2 centre backs. That's more what it is. But yeah, Gabriel Jesus' goal had me more interested and I'll give more superlatives for that goal than De Bruyne's. But yeah, intelligent football, good finish.
Surprised about Man City and how they getting obviously already 4-point lead on Liverpool.
No, I'm not surprised. I think they've had decent fixtures. They've had good fixtures. They've come up against 2 teams that showed no ambition against them.
Yeah.
I still think they look suspect if a team attacks them. They're not as great in their counter pressing, in their pressing as they used to. They don't win the ball back as well as they used to.
Do you think that's because of Haaland and the way he plays?
Yeah, he's definitely not pressing as. But I think it's more to do with the fact that they've lost Gabriel Jesus, they've lost Sterling. I mean, you see the way Sterling presses for Chelsea. I mean, it's frightening.
Or even Bernardo Silva doesn't start, so that's another big.
So, yeah, there's a big difference in the off the ball pressing now. So, but they've come up against 2 teams that it ain't gonna really cost them. So, and I suppose that's the thing about cities is teams just don't even look to create the one chance or trap. They're so focused on defending and holding on to a nil. They don't even have the ambition to go for a goal. So, but yeah, there'll be, that gap will close. It'll be tighter. The people forget City were quite a bit behind last year and had to close down. So it's not like the same type of thing could happen.
No, definitely. Anything else stood out for you this week? Your beloved Nottingham Forrest got their win, luckily.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. They're struggling in terms of points, but I think probably not really the win. It's more bloody brought 16 players, and they look, and Hassam if that is true,
Yeah,
I will not believe it.
Hassim Aouar's coming through apparently. Dennis is
Yeah.
definitely getting done.
I will
Mope's
not
done.
believe it if Nottingham
Fuller's
Forest
done.
managed to pull that off.
Yeah.
That is a coup. I mean, I still can't get my head around how Bruno Guimaraes ended up at Newcastle, and now to think I was gonna go to
Yeah, well,
Nottingham Forest.
that's what reports.
They must Nottingham Forest must be paying some serious money in wages to get that deal to get him to agree to that. I mean, wow. Wow, so if it does happen, then yeah, that's more what stood out for me rather than
But they, I mean, they are investing heavily to obviously stay and battle in the Premier League. So you gotta give it to them. But obviously, settling in
the quality of the players and the signings,
settling in 16 is going to be hard though, I do.
But they're buying players that are very high quality, and Mangala is really good. Frula is very very good. The quality of the players that they are signing, they are top quality players. The only area still you'd say maybe they can do something is a proven striker, but as we saw, Owonimi is a handful, and he's a trier, and he'll get the odd jammy goal, but he doesn't know.
Well, they got Dennis and Mope, right? So
yeah, but
Dennis will get you some goals.
But he's a winger, and Dennis is more winger than a striker. So Mope, I don't know if he's that top and quality. But the midfielders they're signing are top quality. Niakate, which we never really spoke about much during preseason, but he's a leader. He's a really good signing. He's showing those qualities now. Really strong, solid defender. So the signings is just the quality of the signings, and you can see the homework done, the prices they're getting them for. There's a lot of things to like about what they're doing and the way they're planning and assembling the squad.
Definitely. On that note, Adil, thank you very much for today, and for our viewers, thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and let us know your view and thoughts of the weekend. Thank you.